Oh, wow. So for people who don't, and it's the first time, I'll tell them a little bit about your law firm and what you offer,
Okay.
practice, I would say.
Well, of course, I'm Tanita Cain, and I have my law firm has been open for 22 years now. So I've been practicing law for 22 years. And so I've done a variety of areas in those 22 years. These last few years, I've been focusing primarily on criminal defense work. So I am a criminal defense attorney. I oftentimes relate myself to the public defenders because I have probably just as much caseload as a public defender. And a lot of times I have some concessions with my fees for some of my clients because I do a lot of pro bono work, but I try to help those that need to be helped. But I also do personal injury, civil litigation, family law, which I squint at a lot, but it's not my favorite. But I practice family law and some bankruptcies.
So, and, and most time, like you said, with this changing legal world that we live in, because, things we thought that was settled law, it ain't much settled, it seems like, and then like you always say, the law can always change, whether it's by legislatures changing it or Congress changing it, or if a court of people decide like, hey, we think differently about something that we thought a couple years ago that thought was settled law, because everybody has different interpretations and stuff.
Yeah, let me talk about that for a second, Jarvis. Let me just
Mhm.
talk about this Roe v. Wade just for 1 second. I know
Okay.
that's not the topic right now, but as a female, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Roe v.
Mhm.
Wade because that's a hot topic right now. However, in 2018, in the state of Alabama, they put the bill on the ballots in that year. I want to say that was a presidential election year, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And I was speaking about this bill in my capacity as I'm all about voting and getting people registered to vote, and I speak on the top as a voting. And in one of those conferences, I talked about this bill, and I told people to pay very close attention to this bill, because if you don't pay close attention, this bill will pass, and the governor is going to sign in this bill and say that our rights to an abortion, or our right to choose an abortion, will be limited or now taken away, period.
Mhm.
So you have to pay attention, because a lot of times we're not paying attention. So that was 4 years ago.
Mhm.
No, it
So,
actually wasn't a presidential race. It was a governor's race, actually.
uh, yeah, because a lot of these states have these quote unquote trigger laws that if it was changed, it went immediately into effect.
Correct. It
And then,
did.
like, I read the case today about this 10-year-old that was raped by this guy, and it was actually in, I think it was in Indiana, and they end up and they have to go to Ohio. If, if I get the wrong states wrong, y'all don't hold against me,
Right,
but
right.
it was a 10-year-old. And
Correct.
then now I read that they're actually trying to, the Indiana Attorney General is trying to charge the doctor for not reporting it, because I guess they have a law that you have to report the abortion. So it's a lot of changing things. Even about, as we, like you said, we get more and more into this. Like, I guess one thing as well is that they try and make a law that if you're here in Alabama, you can't travel to California to get it done. So that is the
I
reason.
just don't understand, honestly, why we're getting so involved in the reproduction and, and of like what women. Why are, and I often say this, why are men, mostly white males, sitting around fumbling their fingers around my body? and what we should do with my vagina.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gone. Just
It's gone wild.
it's gone
It's gone
wild,
wild.
and the more, and like I know a lot of you all probably have watched my series this past election season, interviewing a lot of judicial candidates because believe it or not, it starts judges. They don't make it to the Supreme Court out of nowhere. They start off in these lower courts, and then you watch them over time. They accentuate, and then like I guess you could tell, as an attorney that you watch their rulings most time are consistent. They don't change. Like some may evolve over time, but sometimes they look back and you be like, oh, this person was ruling this way. And it always starts off with these minor courts that you don't think about, that you just like, oh, I don't know this person, or I picked this person because of popularity. But you don't ask this person that's why this was it. Whoever's on the judge, not trying to get political with this interview and like that, is that's more important than who actually your state representative is. They can make a difference in your life.
So I think differently.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the state representatives are more important than your judges. Now that's just me.
Oh yeah.
And let me tell you why I think that. Because your state legislators are the ones that are bringing forth these laws, and you can lobby or have someone lobby for your interests. With the state legislators, you need to pay very close attention to who you put in the Senate or in the legislators, in the House of Representatives. You need to be very, very careful throughout this entire state of Alabama, or in the United States, in your state, because those are your lawmakers. And so what happened with judges is that we're just enforcing the laws that have been placed before us. We can't change the law because we're judges. And a lot of people don't know that. Like, we don't have that power, and we can get in trouble, as we've seen, if we believe deeply in something and want to make a difference and defy the Supreme Court or defy the laws. That's something that we are not allowed to do. We don't have that kind of power. Now we can have the power of, sentencing and, that kind of stuff, but we don't have the power to change the laws or the rules.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on today, Tanita. And, this, like I tell everybody, this is the first of mini series. You all bear with us. I'm getting a little bit better with this, showing the screens. But I like this a little bit better because it gives her reaction, instant reaction. She doesn't watch any of this. This is just her watching it. And we hope that, you all can kind of like, think like an attorney when you hear a lot of these issues in the news, or you see a lot of them. What's that number if they need to, if they want to reach out to you and have you as their attorney?
Hey, they can call me at 205-202-4077. That's 205-202-4077. That's the Cain Law Firm.
Okay. And Tanita, thank you for coming on today. Thank you all for watching. Please check out what'shappeningbirmingham.com for more interviews. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you all again. And most important thing Tanita said, if you get pulled over, you got the right to remain silent.
You have the right to remain silent. And you also can, if they're harassing you, you can report that in internal affairs to their superiors for harassment. There is a such thing, and people are not aware. So you are you're rightful as a citizen. You can go and report these officers if they are harassing you. Now, if they ain't harassing you, just don't be going up there. But if they following you around and they know your car and you haven't done anything and they're just pulling you over because they know you and they may like you, you can make a report on them. So, yes.
All right. Well, thank you all again. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Do you know what's happening in Birmingham? Find out now with the all-new What's Happening Birmingham app. Download today on Android, iPhone, and iPad for free. Get info on everything you need to know about local news, events, businesses, restaurants, and more. Visit our website, what'shappeningbirmingham.com, follow us on Twitter at happeningbham, or call us at 205-538-4508. Download the What's Happening Birmingham app today. What's Happening Birmingham, your source for everything Birmingham.